one for the angels, when the ego pitches trinkets and spirit pitches truth. Lou Bookman is a sidewalk pitchman, an old man with a suitcase full of trinkets, toys, ties, lotions, and words that can spin a sail out of thin air. He is beloved by children, tolerated by adults, and invisible to the larger world. His life, as Serling says, is a treadmill built out of sidewalks. On an ordinary July afternoon, the extraordinary enters. Mr. Death arrives to tell him his time is up at midnight. At first, Lou does what the ego always does. He bargains. He stalls. He looks for a loophole. He points to unfinished business, but his list is pitiful. He has never flown in a helicopter. He has never seen a Zulu war dance. Nothing really matters, and he knows it. Finally, he finds something that does matter to him. He's never made his big pitch. He's never delivered a sales job so perfect that the heavens themselves would have to open. He calls it his pitch for the angels. Death reluctantly agrees to a delay. But Lou thinks he is clever. He vows never to make that pitch, which means never to die. And that is when the script flips. Because he has cheated, Death selects a substitute. Maggie, the little neighborhood girl who adores Lou, is struck by a truck and hovers between life and death. Suddenly, all of Lou's petty evasions collapse. Now it is not about his cleverness, but about love. To save Maggie, he must give the pitch of his life. The Twilight Zone frames Bookman as a pitchman, but that is really just another word for the ego. The ego is always selling, and what it sells is specialness. Trinkets of identity, baubles of self-image, quick fixes and promises that never last. Just like a carnival barker, the ego shouts its wares. Here is happiness in a body. Here is success in a title. Here is love in a special relationship. And like most pitchmen, it knows the product is cheap, fragile, and unnecessary. Lou's suitcase full of odds and ends is the symbol of this. Nothing he sells has lasting value. Nothing he peddles brings real joy. It is all distraction, toys to pass the time until death knocks on the door. But this is where the parable deepens. The Course in Miracles teaches that all gifts come from God and have one true purpose: to be used for forgiveness, for love, for awakening. Bookman's gift was persuasion, the art of words. Yet he spent his life using it to pawn trinkets, to survive, to shuffle along the treadmill of sidewalks. Only when death and love collide, only when Maggie's life is at stake, does he finally pour his whole heart into his gift. The result is astonishing. His words, once hollow, now burn with fire. He sells death himself, dazzling him with the performance. He pitches with humor, urgency, and brilliance. He empties his case, and finally, with a flourish, offers the pièce de résistance. Himself, a manservant, willing, capable, utterly devoted. Death is entranced. Midnight passes. Maggie is spared. And in that moment, Lou has made his pitch for the angels. Not because it was clever, but because it was selfless. His gift, given wholly, becomes salvation. The haunting question is, why did it take this? Why do we wait until death comes knocking, or until crisis strikes, to give our gifts wholly? Lou could have made a pitch like this any day of his life. But like so many of us, he saved his brilliance for the edge of the grave. He thought small when life asked for largeness. He played with trinkets when heaven asked for truth. The ego whispers that gifts are for getting, for earning a living, for impressing others, for survival. Spirit gently insists they are for giving, and when given they save. At the end, Lou looks upward and asks death if he is going up there. He hopes, like many do, that heaven is a place, and that his deeds have earned him entrance. Death replies, "Up there, Mr. Bookman, you made it." But the metaphysics is deeper. Heaven is not up there. Heaven is here now, when the gift is used as God intended. Lou made it not because of geography, but because in that moment he remembered what his gift was for. The pièce de résistance of Lou's life was not a toy, a tie, or even his final sales pitch. It was the realization that giving everything away, holding nothing back, was the only pitch that mattered. That is why the sky metaphorically opened. That is why Maggie lived. That is why Lou could finally go in peace. The angels did not need a pitch. Lou needed to give one, not to earn salvation, but to remember what salvation is. It is not found in clever words or shiny wares. It is found in the wholehearted giving of a gift that was never his to keep. One for the angels is light, whimsical and tender compared to later Twilight Zone episodes. But beneath its charm lies a piercing metaphysical lesson. The ego sells illusions. Spirit redeems the same talent by repurposing it for truth. Death, once feared, becomes only a doorway when the gift has been given. And heaven is not a place we reach, but a recognition we remember. Lou Bookman finally made his pitch for the angels, not because he tricked death, but because he stopped tricking himself. Louis J. Bookman, 60 years on the sidewalks of summer, peddling notions and toys, a salesman to children and dreamers alike, who at the end made his greatest pitch, not for profit, but for love, a pitch so true it opened the skies themselves. His suitcase now closed, his sidewalk now still, his journey continues. Not down, but up. For he has gone where every true gift belongs, to the angels, in the Twilight Zone.